Guys, this speech from Traoré will be a game changer to both Caribbeans and Africans. Let's listen to what he has to say and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Comrade President Vladimir Putin,
Camarade Président, chef d'État africain,
African heads of state,
camarade chef de délégation,
Comrade head of delegation,
Bonjour.
good morning. It is an honor for me this morning to take the floor here and to pass on to you the fraternal greetings of the people of the land of men of integrity. It is from the Almighty that we have been able to gather here this morning in good health to talk about the future and the well-being of our people. I am going to apologize to the elders whom I may offend in my future remarks. Because of Africanity, because of the rights of one of them, I have to apologize. Comrade, I have a few questions from my generation. Not a single question that is being asked. We don't have an answer, and it turns out that here we can wash our linseed because we feel like a family. It feels like a family in the sense that Russia is also a family for Africa. It is a family because we have the same history. Russia made enormous sacrifices to liberate the world from Nazism during the Second World War. The people of Africa, our grandfathers, were also forcibly deported to help Europe get rid of Nazism. We share the same history in the sense that we are the forgotten peoples of the world, whether in the history books, in documentaries or in film, insofar as we sweep away the preponderant role played by Russia and Africa in this fight against Nazism. We are here together because we are here to talk about the future of our peoples and what is to come. Of the future of tomorrow, of the free world to which we aspire, of a world without interference in our internal affairs. We have the same prospects, and I hope that this summit will be an opportunity to forge very good relations and to create a better future for our peoples. The questions that my generations are asking themselves about the next generation, if I can sum it up, is that they do not understand how Africa, with so much wealth on our soil, with its generous nature, water and abundant sunshine, Africa is today the poorest continent. Africa is a starving continent, and how is it that our heads of state are traveling through the world of a man? These are questions that we are asking ourselves and that we have not yet had answers. We have the opportunity to forge new relationships, and I hope that these relations can be the best, to give a better future to our peoples. My generation also instructs me to say that because of poverty, they are forced to cross the ocean in order to try to reach Europe. They die in the ocean. But that soon they will not have crossed it, because they will come in front of our palaces to look for their daily sustenance. As far as Burkina Faso is concerned, for more than 8 years, we have been confronted with the most barbaric and violent form of neo-colonialism and imperialism. Slavery still has so much to impose on us. Our front runners have taught us one thing: slavery that is not capable of accepting its own revolt does not deserve to be relied upon by its fate. We don't worry about our fate. We are not asking for someone to rely on our fate. The people of Burkina Faso have decided to fight against hypothyroidism, capable of reviving its development. In this struggle, valiant peoples, wines, and a population have pledged to take up arms in the face of terrorists. The ones we actually call the VDPs, volunteers. We are surprised to see the imperialists calling these VDPs militias and of all kinds. It is one of those wines, because in Europe, when people take up arms to defend their patriots, they are called patriots. Our grandfathers were deported to save Europe. It was not with their consent, against their grey. Well, on the way back, we remember that in Traoré, when they tried to bandage their elemental sheet, they were massacred. so it doesn't matter. When we people decide to defend ourselves, we are called militias. But that's not the problem. What is the problem is to see African heads of state who bring nothing to these peoples who are fighting, but who sing the same thing as the imperialists. To our militia dealers, to our traders, therefore, to men who do not respect human rights, hence the human right. We are effusive against this and these shameful people. We, the African heads of state, must stop behaving like puppets who dance every time the imperialists pull the strings. Yesterday, President Vladimir Putin announced that the grain would be sent to Africa. And we are very happy, and we thank each other for that. But it is also a message to our African heads of state, because at the next forum, we must not come here without having ensured that our peoples will be able to achieve food self-sufficiency for those who do not know war. We need to learn from those who have already been able to achieve this in Africa, build good relations here and build better relations with the Russian Federation so that we can meet the needs of our people. I may not be slow, time is running out and very short. We are obliged to stop and love my take. But I would like to end by saying that we must therefore pay tribute to our peoples who are fighting. Glory to our peoples, dignity to our peoples, victory to our peoples, homeland or death will come.
Please allow me also to pay tribute to the Nigerian people. These people who have suffered so much since the advent of the CNSP and who continue to remain standing. Thank you to the Nigerians who gave us a warm welcome yesterday when we set foot on the soil of our homeland here. You are more than friends, you are more than neighbors, you are our brothers, you are our sisters. Because fraternity goes beyond friendship or neighborhood. We have the same blood flowing through our veins. In our veins runs the blood of these valiant warriors who fought and who reserved these lands that we call Mali, Burkina, and Niger. In our veins runs the blood of these valiant warriors who helped the whole world get rid of Nazism and many other scourges. In our veins runs the blood of these valiant warriors who were deported from Africa to Europe, America, Asia, or whatever, and who helped build these states during slavery. In our veins flows the blood of worthy men, of robust men, of capable men. And for this, let us be proud and thank you for being a national of the AES. Africa, this continent which has suffered so much and which continues to suffer because of the imperialists. These imperialists have only one cliché in mind. Africa is the empire of slaves. This is how they see Africa. For them, Africans belong to them. Our land belongs to them. Our basements belong to them. They have never been able to change software until today. It's deplorable. But how does he do it? It is unfortunately since the 1960s that these 6,000 acres of independence were given to Africa. They just placed local valleys at the head, according to them, of their sub-prefecture to be able to continue to supply them. These local valleys that we are going to describe today as living room slaves have no other guide than to seek to live like the master, to satisfy the master, and to do everything that the master dictates. They steal, they plunder our states, take everything to the master, and their wealth is kept with the master. They do everything to live like their master and always satisfy him. When the master commands, they execute. Do you know who these parlor slaves are? We will explain to you what it is. These are individuals who have no dignity, who have no morals, who have no personality. But the slave master always knew how to identify these individuals. They are always ready to betray their brother to satisfy the master. They have betrayed us since independence, and others continue to betray us until today for the benefit of their master. These individuals always continue against all odds to plunder Africa, to help the master to plunder Africa. They like to say it every year. In their economic survey, Burkina is the poorest country, Mali is the poorest country, Niger is the poorest country. We are ranked among the last. All right, if we are as poor as they say, But when the time came to take responsibility, we asked these masters to leave the place. Why don't they want to leave? Because we take the case of Niger. For more than 40 years, certain countries have exploited uranium to produce energy at home. From Ottawa to Paris, the streets are illuminated. It's light. But in Niger, it's darkness. Security that served us. When you go to our states, our soils are drilled all over to search for precious metals such as gold. But often, there is not even the slightest accessible road to reach areas where they exploit some basic social services.
This battle, this war, we are going to win it, and we are going to overcome imperialism, which activated these terrorism in our region, to hope to bring us back in these colonial times, to maintain us under their yoke, to exploit us until the end of time. Africa is waking up, and no one can still close the eyes of Africans on our realities. No one can still come to divide us, to impose on us what they want. That's why we have done everything to be here today to speak to you, but also to come and wish good luck to President John Mahama. We will work together to strengthen cooperation between Burkina Faso and Ghana, and also between the AES and Ghana. Because we have many challenges together and we have always been able to overcome them. There is no reason why we are not united and that we block imperialism. Stay united, and show your Burkina Faso wherever you are. Thank you very much.
This is the journey to one Africa.
Mais soyez sûrs, il ne faut jamais perdre espoir.
Smooth smiles and empty promises. This is a man who's walked the walk, serving on the front lines against the terrorists who've been tearing Burkina Faso apart. He's seen the devastation, the suffering, and he's had enough. And guess what? The people have had enough too. They're tired of the same old corrupt leaders lining their own pockets while the country crumbles. This is a generation that's grown up connected to the world, seeing the progress happening elsewhere, and they're demanding a piece of the pie. They see Traoré as one of their own, someone who understands their struggles and is ready to fight for their future. He's a symbol of hope, a beacon in the darkness, and his message is resonating not just in Burkina Faso but across the continent. Let's be real, corruption is a cancer eating away at Africa's potential. It's the greedy uncle who shows up at the family reunion and empties the punch bowl before anyone else gets a sip. Traoré sees this happening, and he's calling it out. He's like, yo, that's our money, our resources, our future you're messing with. He's not just talking the talk either. Traoré's gone straight for the jugular, launching investigations into dodgy deals, freezing assets, and putting corrupt officials on notice. He's sending a clear message: the gravy train is over. It's time for leaders to serve the people, not themselves. And it's not just about punishing the bad guys. Traoré's also focused on strengthening institutions, making them more transparent and accountable. He's pushing for reforms that will make it harder for corruption to flourish in the first place. He's like a determined gardener, pulling out the weeds and planting seeds of integrity. Now let's talk about neo-colonialism, that sneaky cousin of colonialism that pretends to be gone but is still lurking in the shadows. It's like that ex who keeps showing up at your door uninvited, trying to control your life. Traoré's not having it. He's calling out the West, particularly France, for their continued meddling in African affairs. He's pointing to things like the CFA franc, a currency used by many former French colonies that's still controlled by France. Imagine having your own country, but your ex gets to decide how much your money's worth. Traoré's like, nah, we're good. We can handle our own finances. He's also kicking out foreign military bases and seeking alternative partnerships. He's forging alliances with other African nations, building a pan-African movement that says, we've got this. We can solve our own problems without outside interference. It's a bold move, a declaration of independence, and it's sending shockwaves through the halls of power. Section 4. A controversial path, coup d'etat and the quest for change. Now I know what you're thinking. Hold up, did you just say coup d'etat? Isn't that, a bad thing? Yeah, typically coups aren't exactly a recipe for democracy. But here's the thing with Traoré, he's not some power-hungry general trying to cling to control. He's promised a return to democratic rule, a transition back to civilian government. And while some folks are skeptical, many others see him as a necessary disruptor, a man who had to take drastic measures to clean up the mess left by the old guard. He's like the IT guy who shows up when your computer's completely crashed, and he's got to do a hard reset to get things working again. Yeah, it's a bit of a shock to the system, but sometimes it's the only way to hit the refresh button. Section 5. Responsibility, not privilege. Redefining leadership in Africa. One of the things that sets Traoré apart is his whole vibe about leadership. He's not in it for the fancy cars, the private jets, or the Swiss bank accounts. He sees leadership as a responsibility, a duty to serve the people. He's always saying, we're here to work, to deliver results, to make a difference in the lives of ordinary people. And he's walking the walk, cutting his own salary, refusing to live in a luxurious presidential palace, and even driving himself around sometimes. He's like, look, I'm not better than you. I'm here to serve you. It's a refreshing change from the entitlement and greed that we've come to expect from so many African leaders. Traoré is showing that it doesn't have to be this way, that leadership can be about integrity, humility, and a genuine desire to uplift the people. Section 6. A continent awakens Traoré's vision for a transformed Africa. So, what does the future hold for Burkina Faso and for Africa under Traoré's influence? It's still early days, but one thing's for sure. He's injected a much-needed dose of hope and inspiration into the continent. He's shown that change is possible, that young people can lead the way, and that Africa can chart its own destiny. He's igniting a Pan-African spirit, a belief that by working together, African nations can break free from the shackles of neo-colonialism and achieve true economic and political independence. He's empowering young people, encouraging them to get involved in politics, to innovate, to create solutions for Africa's challenges. Try to accept corruption and mediocrity. We can demand better from our leaders, from ourselves, from our continent. And that's a message that resonates far beyond the borders of Burkina Faso. It's a message that has the power to transform Africa. Who's really pulling the strings? And most importantly, how can we, as a nation, chart a course that puts the interests of Jamaicans first? Now let's talk about foreign aid, shall we? Because Traoré, he's not a fan. He sees it for what it often is, a band-aid solution, a way to keep nations dependent and beholden to foreign interests. He believes in empowering Burkina Faso to stand on its own 2 feet, to build its own industries, to control its own resources. And you know what? He's got a point. Jamaica, with its fertile land, its vibrant culture, its entrepreneurial spirit, has all the ingredients for success. But too often, we fall into the trap of relying on handouts instead of investing in ourselves. It's time to break free from that cycle, to unleash the potential of Jamaican industries, from agriculture to technology, to create a Jamaica that thrives on its own terms, not on the whims of foreign donors. One of the most striking things about Ibrahim Traoré is his age. This is a man who understands that the future belongs to the young, and he's not afraid to put them in the driver's seat. He's called for a new generation of leaders to step up, to bring fresh ideas and energy to Burkina Faso's challenges. Sound familiar? Jamaica too has a young and vibrant population bursting with talent and potential, but too often our youth face a lack of opportunities, a system that seems rigged against them. It's time to change that narrative, to invest in education, to create pathways for entrepreneurship, to empower our young people to become the leaders, the innovators, the change makers Jamaica needs to thrive in the 21st century. Chapter 4, Preserving Paradise, Protecting Jamaica's Cultural Identity. Now let's talk about something close to my heart: culture. See, Traoré, he gets it. He understands that a nation's culture is its soul, its identity, its unique fingerprint on the world. And he's fiercely protective of Burkina Faso's cultural heritage, pushing back against the relentless tide of westernization. Jamaica, my friends, we are a cultural powerhouse. From reggae to dancehall, from our cuisine to our language, we bring flavor to the world. But we can't take our cultural richness for granted. We need to be vigilant, to support our artists, to preserve our traditions, to ensure that Jamaica remains a beacon of cultural vibrancy, a place where our unique identity is celebrated and cherished for generations to come. Economic independence for Jamaica. One of Traore's boldest moves has been to assert control over Burkina Faso's gold reserves. For years, foreign companies have profited from these resources, leaving little behind for the Burkinabe people. No more, says Traoré. And you know what? He's got a point. Jamaica too has valuable resources, from bauxite to our stunning natural beauty. But for too long, we've allowed foreign companies to dictate the terms, to reap the lion's share of the profits. It's time to rewrite the rules of the game, to ensure that Jamaicans benefit from our own resources, to invest in local industries, to create a more equitable, diversifying Jamaica's international partnerships. Traoré understands that true independence means breaking free from old dependencies, forging new alliances based on mutual respect and shared prosperity. He's been reaching out to emerging economies, exploring new trade partnerships beyond the traditional Western powers. And that, my friends, is a lesson Jamaica should take to heart. For too long, we've been overly reliant on a handful of countries for trade and investment. It's time to diversify, to explore new markets, to build relationships with nations across Africa, Asia, Latin America, nations that see Jamaica not as a former colony but as an equal partner, a nation with something valuable to offer the world. Chapter 7. Traoré is a vocal advocate for African unity, for a continent that stands together against external exploitation and interference. He understands that a divided Africa is a vulnerable Africa, and he's committed to building bridges, to fostering collaboration and solidarity among African nations. Now, Jamaica might be a small island, but we're not alone. We're part of a Caribbean community, a region with a shared history, shared challenges, and shared aspirations. It's time to strengthen those bonds, to advocate for stronger Caribbean alliances, to present a united front on the world stage, and to show the world that together we are stronger. Now let's talk about the elephants in the room, the IMF, the World Bank, and those lovely structural adjustment programs they're so fond of. Traoré, he's not a fan. He sees these institutions for what they often are: instruments of neo-colonial control, trapping nations in cycles of debt and dependency. And you know what? He's not wrong. Jamaica, we know this story all too well. We've been down this road and it hasn't led us to the promised land. It's time to explore alternatives, to invest in sustainable development, to empower local communities, to break free from the shackles of debt, and chart a new course towards genuine economic liberation. One of the most remarkable things about Ibrahim Traoré is his humility. This is not a man who craves luxury or personal enrichment. He lives a modest lifestyle, choosing to serve his people rather than enrich himself. Now, I'm not saying Jamaican leaders need to give up their Clarks or anything, but maybe, just maybe, there's a lesson here about integrity, about putting the needs of the people above personal gain. It's time for transparency, for accountability, for leaders who understand that true leadership is about service, about being a voice for the voiceless, about working tirelessly to build a better future for all. From Little England to Lionheart, reclaiming Jamaica's national pride. Traoré understands that a nation without pride is a nation adrift. He's instilled a sense of national pride in Burkina Faso, a belief in the power of the Burkinabe people to overcome any obstacle and build a brighter future. And Jamaica, we need a dose of that Lionheart spirit. For too long, we've been fed a narrative of inferiority, a colonial hangover that tells us we're not good enough, that we need to imitate others to succeed. It's time to reject that narrative, to embrace our unique identity, to celebrate our history, our culture, our resilience. It's time to invest in local industries, to tell our own stories, to show the world the true meaning of Jamaican excellence. Unbreaking the chains, overcoming the legacy of colonialism. Traoré knows that true independence is an ongoing struggle, a constant pushback against the lingering effects of colonialism. He's challenged unfair agreements, stood up to foreign pressure, and refused to let Burkina Faso be defined by its past. And that, my friends, is a lesson Jamaica needs to take to heart. The ghosts of colonialism still linger, from economic structures that favor the few to social hierarchies that perpetuate inequality. It's time to confront those ghosts head-on, to critically examine our international agreements, to dismantle systems that no longer serve us, and to build a Jamaica that is truly free, truly independent, truly our own. Protectors, not oppressors. Redefining the role of the military. Now, I know what you're thinking. A military leader, isn't that a bit, well, concerning? And I hear you. But Traore's leadership challenges our preconceived notions of what a military leader can be. He understands that the military's primary role is to protect its citizens, not to oppress them. He's emphasized the need for discipline, for professionalism, but also for respect for human rights and the rule of law. Now, I'm not saying Jamaica needs a military coup, but maybe, just maybe, there's a lesson here about the importance of a well-trained, disciplined, and accountable security force, one that works to protect and serve all Jamaicans. Homeward bound, addressing internal displacement and inequality. Traoré faces a massive challenge in Burkina Faso: internal displacement due to conflict and instability. He's made it a priority to resettle displaced people, to provide them with support, to help them rebuild their lives. Now, Jamaica might not face the same level of displacement, but we do have our own struggles with inequality, with poverty, with communities left behind. It's time to invest in affordable housing, in social support programs, in creating opportunities for all Jamaicans to thrive, regardless of where they come from or what their circumstances may be. Securing paradise, a multifaceted approach to safety and security. Traoré understands that security is not just about military might, it's about addressing the root causes of instability, poverty, inequality, lack of opportunity. He's emphasized a multifaceted approach, combining national security measures with community engagement and development initiatives.
What's up, my good people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Karen. Thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. If you're new here, kindly consider subscribing to the channel. Give the video a like and share if you can, or share to as many people as you can. So guys, we have been talking about getting leaders or electing leaders that would stand for us, that would be there for us, not greedy leaders, not, leaders that can be controlled, So, as you all know, Traoré is one African leader that everyone looks up to. Every other person in the world looks up to his courage, like is that leader that cannot be threatened, cannot be controlled, and cannot be controlled or being told to be led by these powerful leaders and all that. This is one leader that every country wishes, like everyone, literally everyone. If you don't wish to have such a leader, then you have a problem, because we are used to being controlled or being told what to do and all that. We elect leaders, but they come and turn against us. They let these powerful countries control them. They sell out the country. That is what we're used to. But now, imagine having a leader such as Traoré, who says no to anything that is not in favor of what the people want, who says no to these powerful leaders, and he always advocates for Africans, Caribbeans, our brothers. Caribbeans are actually our brothers and sisters, and even the Black Americans. He always says that all Black Americans can actually come back home, invest, start a life here, and that is what we want. If you come and invest back at home, that's how we develop our own countries. Your ancestors, most of you are taken from Africa, and your ancestors are our ancestors. So we have a common ancestry. Mm. So he always says that no powerful leaders or these powerful nation leaders can take advantage of his people when he's still there. You know, he's making use of the minerals, the crops. You know, as Africans, we are actually gifted. They say Africa is the poorest, like it's the poorest continent, but we are the most rich, you know, we are the richest. If you actually follow that, we are the richest. The minerals, the crops, you know, we can plant crops all through the year. And a lot of them are being exported. They are being packaged outside Africa. And then they send the products back. Just because we have leaders who cannot make use of our own products, they sell it out and then they bring it back in very bad quality, and they take the most the best quality for themselves, and then they bring for us the worst qualities and they sell to us at higher prices when we are the original producers. You know, that's actually taken advantage of the things that we have, the riches. Africans are actually very rich, very, very rich. Whoever thinks that we are the poorest, okay, we know the problem is electing these leaders that don't actually stand for us. They can't speak for us. They just let them being controlled as puppets, you know. They become puppet leaders. Immediately they get on those seats, they forget about the people that put them on those positions, and they serve other people that are coming with greed, and they want to take everything from Africans, from Caribbeans, even the gold in Jamaica, which is supposed to be for the people, but it's all being controlled by these powerful countries. And at the end of the day, most of us, we end up going maybe to the US, to UK, Canada, just to get better jobs or to get employed or for education. When we have that chance, we have leaders that can create that opportunity. They can give us those jobs. They can create the jobs as much as they want. Imagine through the minerals, the crops, everything, you know, we can get jobs from those industries. But what happens is that they are actually selling out those minerals. They're actually uh, selling our original products, the crops. And at the end of the day, we become the poorest when we are supposed to be the richest. So Traoré is one powerful, fearless leader that everyone looks up to, you know. He tries to teach all these leaders from the Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados. Barbados, they have actually a very good prime minister who is, what's her name? Mia Motley. She's a good leader. And he's trying to teach all these leaders, Africans, Caribbeans, that you can stand for yourselves. You can make something from whatever you are achieving, or the little products, the crops, whatever you are getting from your natural places. You can make something positive, something that can change the lives of your people, that can change the economy of a country, you know. So guys, what do you ever think about having such leaders as Traoré, and what do you say about his speech? Let me know in the comment section, and thank you so much for watching up to this point. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel, share, comment, and thank you so much for showing love to this amazing girl.